Hi guys and welcome back to my read along channel. We are reading Candyfloss by Jacqueline Wilson. This is all Jacqueline Wilson's own work. I'm just reading it for entertainment and pleasure. Get that out of the way with. We are reading chapter 13, Unlucky for Some, which is on page 173, and it finishes on chapter 14, which is on 191. So without further ado, let's get going, guys. Chapter 13. I walked into the cafe. I knew at once that something strange had happened. We didn't have any new customers, but Billy the Chip, Old Ron and Miss Davis was sitting at the same table. They weren't drinking tea. They were drinking from dinky little glasses, filling them from a big green bottle. Champagne! Oh, Dad had a glassful too. He raised his glass at me, and then he nearly spilled his champagne when he saw what I was wearing. Oh, Floss, what has that woman done to you? Here, darling, come and have your first weeny little sip of champagne. What are we celebrating, Dad? I asked. It's our dear old Billy. He's the one who's celebrating, said Dad, raising his glass to Billy the Chip. Is it your birthday, Mr. Chip? I asked, taking a small sip out of Dad's glass. The bubbles fizzed up my nose and made me giggle. You can't drink alcoholic liquor to the child. Look at her. She's drunk already, said Miss Davis. Oh, liven up, you old biddy. It would do you some good to get drunk yourself for once, said Old Ron. It's not my birthday, sweetheart, said Billy the Chip, but it feels like it. I've backed third time lucky in 4:30 at Doncaster, a 51 outsider, no less. And guess what? The darling little filly grew wings and flew home, first past the finishing post. Oh, well done, I said, clapping my hands. Oh, Dad, did you have a bet too? I thought I was being sensible, said Dad, shaking his head. Still, I'm thrilled for Billy and very grateful too. It's me that should be grateful to little Flossie here. I'll buy you a big dolly or teddy for a belated birthday present and do your dad a little favour into the bargain. Mr. Chip's doing us a great big favour, Floss, said Dad, sipping the champagne. He took my cap off and ruffled the curls back into place. There, call me old-fashioned, but I don't really care for the trendy outfit on you, pet. I hate it, Dad. I didn't want her to buy it for me. Don't worry. I won't ever, ever, ever wear it again. But what's the big favour? Well, you know, the whole sad situation about the cafe, Dad started. Oh, Dad, is Mr. Chip going to give you some of his winnings so he can keep the cafe? I burst out. Of course not, Floss. We owe far too much. No, I'm afraid we've got to go by Monday next week, but I've got somewhere to go now, and I've got a job for the next few weeks. Dad beamed at Billy the Chip. It's so good of you, Billy. You're a great mate. Think nothing of it, Charlie. You're the one doing me a favour taking over the van and keeping an eye on my gaff while I'm off gallivanting. Billy the Chip nodded at me. I'm off to Australia, young Floss. I'm going to spend my winnings on a ticket to go and see my boy. I can't wait. Isn't that great, Floss? You can travel with Billy and keep each other company. I'm staying with you, Dad, I said firmly, though inside I was as wobbly as jelly. No, Floss, that's completely mad. We both know it. Then I'm completely mad, I said, pulling my funny face. They all chuckled, while Dad shook his head. So you're going to run Mr. Chip's van, Dad? That's right, little darling. Is that where we're going to live? In the Chip van, I said. I tried to say it casually, but my voice came out squeaky as I said it. Dad burst out laughing. Billy the Chip laughed too, his pale potato face flushing pink. Old Ron roared. Even Miss Davis chirruped and cooed and sounding like her birdie friends. It might be a bit of a squash, sweetheart, said Billy the Chip. I don't think you could squeeze even your little bed inside my old van. No, you and your dad can stay at my house. You can be my house sitters and feed my cats too. Your dad says you like cats, is that right, Flossie? Yes, especially the little skinny black ones, I said wistfully. Dad wouldn't let me have any more champagne, but he poured lemonade into a special glass for me, so that I could join in the party too. I'm a bit peckish with all the excitement, said Billy the Chip. How about a chip butty, Charlie? They're on the house, pal, said Dad. Hey, little Floss, come and be my number one kitchen assistant. When we were out in the kitchen and Dad had set the chips sizzling, he bent down until our faces were level and cupped my cheeks with his big hands. Are you sure you're serious about staying with me, darling? I truly think you'd be much better off joining up with your mum. Billy's offer is a godsend, but he's only going for a month. He says we can stay at his place after he comes back, but that doesn't seem very fair. I've got no idea what his house is like, though. I shouldn't think it's very big. It'll be bigger than a cardboard box, Dad, I said. I'm staying. Dad laughed, but his eyes went all watery. You're a great little kid, Floss, he said, so we'll have to get your toys all packed up again. We'll take your swing with us too. Let's hope we can tie it up in Billy's garden somewhere, though I can't promise. Run and have a little swing now, sweetie. Make the most of it. I'll call you when the chips are done. I went into the backyard, even though I didn't really feel like swinging. I felt as if I'd been on a giant swing for far too long as it was. I was dizzy with all the changes in my life. Rose was wrong. All the changes that had happened so far had been horrible. She'd got her good luck signs wrong too. My lovely little lucky black cat had sloped off to live somewhere else. She probably hadn't been snacking on the plates of tuna. I was fattening up that ginger tom, or stray squirrel or fox was licking its chops coming back for more at this newly opened animal annex to the cafe. I leaned over the swing set, moodily, propelling myself backwards and forwards with my toe tips. The seat was hard against my tummy. I hung my head right down, staring at the scrubby grass. I sent messages through the earth, way down to Australia. I miss you, Mum, I whispered. I shut my eyes and thought about the airline ticket. Everyone thought I was mad not to go to Australia. Even Dad. He'd be all right now. He had a job and a place to live. It wasn't as if I'd be leaving him forever. In 5 months I'd be back. I could have my own bedroom in Australia, not a camp bed in the corner of some funny old man's house. I could have fresh, clean, comfy clothes, not creased, smelly stuff or embarrassing design denim. I could make new friends and I could be a proper friend back. I could play on the beaches and swim in the sea. I could go into the bush and see all the animals, jump with the kangaroos, cuddle the koalas. Meow! I opened my eyes. Lucky was sitting right in front of me, her green eyes shining, her little mouth open wide. Meow, 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 she said, for all the world as if she was saying hello. Oh, Lucky! I nearly fell right off the swing onto my head. I caught hold of the rope, wriggled free, and then bent down in front of Lucky, holding out my hands. Hello, darling, I whispered. You've come back. Meow, she said, patting softly towards me until her lovely little head was right by my palm. She let me tickle her chin, arching her neck and stretching her whole body. She wasn't quite as skinny now, and her fur seemed softer and thicker. Have you been eating all the food I've left you? Lucky gazed at me with her beautiful emerald eyes, a wouldn't you like to know expression on her face. Would you like something to eat now? Some nice brown slurpy slimy, especially bought cat food? Meow, said Lucky. It was a definite yes. So what am I going to do? If I go and get your food, will you promise to stay here? Or will you come indoors with me? We've got a lovely cafe with lots of milk. Won't you come and see it while we still live here, please? Lucky stretched, considering. Then she leaned against me docilely. I slipped my hand gently round her. This time she let me lift her up. Her whole body relaxed. Oh, Lucky, 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 I said, rubbing my cheek against her silky fur. Then I walked very carefully into the house. Lucky clasped my chest. Dad was concentrating on lifting the golden chips out of the sizzling pan. Good swing, sweetheart, he said. Yep, Dad, look. Dad looked and nearly dropped the chips. Oh, Floss, your little cat, she's come back. She doesn't mind coming in this time, does she, Dad? She wants her tea. Okay, you give her something to eat while I make us all chip butties. I had to put Lucky down to fill one little bowl with cat food and another with water. I was worried she'd try to scoot straight out of the back door, but she waited patiently, licking her lips at the smell of food. Eat up, little Lucky, I said. You eat up too, Floss, said Dad, giving me a chip butty. Dad went off with a big plate full of butties for Billy the Chip and Old Ron and Miss Davis. I stayed in the kitchen, sitting cross-legged beside Lucky. When we both finished eating, she went to the back door, looking at me expectantly. You want to go away already, I said. Look, I know this is a cafe, but you don't have to rush off the minute you finished your meal. Lucky took no notice. She lifted one paw, pointing at it at the door as if she could zap it open by magic. Okay, I said, sighing, but you'll come back, promise? I opened the door. Lucky shot out to the nearest bush. She squatted in the earth, concentrated, and then carefully scattered earth with her paws, covering everything up. Did you just want me to go to the toilet? I said. Lucky looked at me coyly, as if she didn't really want to talk about it. She let me pick her up and carry her back indoors. I showed her to Billy the Chip and Old Ron and Miss Davis. There we go, a lucky black cat. This is the day and a half, all right. said Billy the Chip. He smacked his lips appreciatively after eating his last bite of butty. I don't know how you do it, Charlie. You make my tip-top chips. I've been in the business all my life, and my dad before me. But my chips pale into insignificance beside yours. When's my luck going to change then? Said old Ron. Here, Flossie, let's have a stroke of that little cat and see if her luck will rub off on me. I let him stroke Lucky a few times with his gnarled old fingers. Would you like a stroke too, Miss Davis? I said, out of politeness. I'm not very keen on pussycats. They're bird killers, said Miss Davis. But she reached out and gingerly touched the tip of Lucky's tail with one finger. Don't you go near any of my pigeons, little cat. You fatten these pesky birds up so much I should think Flossie's little Moggy will turn tail and run for her life if they flew anywhere near her, said old Ron. She isn't Flossie's cat, Dad said gently. She's just a visitor. She wants to stay, Dad. Look at her, I said. Lucky was still snuggled up in my arms, her head resting comfortably on my shoulder. If I carefully turned my head to one side, I could see her expression. She was smiling like the Cheshire Cat in Alice. Well, we'd see if she wants to stick around this time. She will, she will. Hang on, then we have to go round the neighbourhood, making sure no one's lost a cat. We'll ask at the police station too. But if no one's reported her missing, can we keep her then, Dad, please? Well, we're not going to be here, are we, sweetheart? Said Dad sadly. You can keep her round my place. I've got 2 cats, Whiskey and Soda. One more won't make any difference. A little nipper like Lucky might liven up my old ladies up, said Billy the Chip. It's so good of you to let us stay at your place, Billy. Well, it's a bit old-fashioned, like I think it needs one of them makeovers. I haven't had the heart to do anything, not since I lost my Marion. Ah, well, tell me about it, said Dad. I know just how you feel, Billy. Yes, but you're still young, mate, not an old geezer like me. Why don't you think about getting yourself another woman, Charlie? Oh, ha, who'd want to lumber themselves with a loser like me, said Dad. I would, I said. Yes, but you're my special princess and totally prejudiced, said Dad. No, I don't want another woman anyway. We're fine just the way we are, Floss and me, aren't we, lovey? Your Floss will grow up and be off before you know where you are, said Billy the Chip. Life can get lonely by yourself, Charlie. I'll second that, said old Ron. Isn't that right, Miss D? Miss Davis, and I'm never lonely. I keep myself far too busy, said Miss Davis. In fact, I must be off on my bird trail right this minute. She stood up and started manoeuvring her bag of birdseed. She sniffed suddenly. I shall miss my cup of tea and my little sit-down when the cafe closes. I've done the little tour of Starbucks and Costa Coffee and Cafe Nero, but they're all much more expensive. And you can't get a decent chip butty in any of them, said old Ron. No, we'll have to turn into night birds, Miss D, and visit Charlie in Billy's chip van. Miss Davis, and I'm not going anywhere after dark, thank you very much. It's too dangerous. Yobbos all over the town. I could always escort you, Miss D, or old Ron. Miss Davis snorted, but not sure whether to take him seriously or not. But she didn't snub his suggestion, and she didn't correct him about her name this time. Dad cleaned up the cafe after the party was over, while I made Lucky a very soft bed out of my duvet, folded up on the floor of my bedroom. So what are you going to sleep under, said Dad, ruffling my curls. Oh, I'll be fine with an old blanket or your dressing gown, I said. How about giving the cat the blanket or the dressing gown, said Dad. You need your duvet, pet. Yes, but Lucky's my pet. Well, I hope she'll be, Dad. What else would she like in her bedroom? She's still quite a little cat. Would you like a cuddly toy, do you think? I could give her Grandma's dog or elephant to snuggle up with. Hey, maybe I could ask Grandma to knit me a mouse. Lucky would like that. Knowing your Grandma's little problem with sizes, she'd probably knit a giant mouse as big as a moose and scare little Lucky to death. I think we'll leave your Grandma out of it. Lucky doesn't need any cuddly toys. She's got you, sweetheart. We watched as Lucky tried out her duvet, playing with it for a minute, rolling around like a frisky kitten. Then she gave herself a little wash, yawned, stretched, and lay out on her side paws, stretched out. I stroked her back very gently, and she started purring. Her purrs got a little louder, a little slower, sweet like snorty sounds. Dad, is she snoring? I whispered. She certainly is, bless her, said Dad. Come on, let's leave her in peace. All the attention has tired her out. Are you tired too, Floss? I'm not a bit tired. It's way too early for me to go to bed, Dad. That's what I was thinking. So now you've got Lucky settled, how about us going for a little while? I think we both need a little fun tonight. Let's go to the fair, eh? Oh yes, can I go on Pearl again? Of course you can. And can I have another Candyfloss? You bet. Bought it from Rose's stall? Naturally. I paused. Dad, do you like Rose? Of course I do. She's a very kind lady. I think she likes you a lot, Dad. Rubbish, said Dad. But he looked at me hopefully. Do you really think so? Definitely. You're kidding me, said Dad. But he was looking down at his old jersey and jogging bottoms. Hey, I look a terrible scruff bag. I better change out of these old togs. Well, I'm going to change into my old togs, I said. I look stupid in this outfit, don't I, Dad? You look very glam and gorgeous, my darling, but not quite my little girl. So yes, get changed too. Dad got dressed up in his best jeans and blue shirt, and I got dressed down in my old jeans and stripy t-shirt. I checked her unlucky several times and left a bowl of food near her and a box of torn-up newspaper as a makeshift litter tray. Then Dad and I set off for the fair. It wasn't there. There was just an empty field with some muddy tracks and litter blowing in the wind. We both stood staring, madly waiting for it to materialise in front of our eyes. But there were no fans, no rides, no roundabout, no Candyfloss stall. Dad blinked and shook his head. Oh dear, of course, it's moved on somewhere else, as fairs do. I'm a fool. Sorry, Floss. Where's it gone, Dad? Search me. There aren't any posters or anything. Poor Poppet, you've missed out on your ride on Pearl. And my Candyfloss. Yes, sorry. Can't we go and look for it someplace else? Well, where, pet? Dad said helplessly. He looked all around and then spotted a pub on the corner. Let's see if they've got any idea. We hurried to the pub. I hung around the doorway while Dad went in and asked. He came out sadly, shaking his head. No one has a clue. Oh well, can't be helped. Look, they've got a pub garden. Would you care to join me for a glass of something fizzy, sweetheart? Dad had a beer, and I had a lemonade sitting huddled up in the wooden furniture. There was a little plastic slide on a Wendy house in the garden, tiger-sized. I wonder what he was up to in Australia. Maybe he'd forget all about me in 6 months. Steve probably wanted to forget about me, but I knew Mum was missing me. She kept phoning me once or twice. It sounded as if she might be crying. Dad, what are we going to do about Mum phoning? Will we give her Billy the Chip's number? Oh dear, I don't know. I wasn't actually going to tell her we were moving, as it were. I know she'll think it's not suitable, our living at Billy's. Dad put his pint mug down, sighing. Who am I kidding? It's not suitable, dragging you off to some funny old man's house. Goodness knows what state it's in. He seemed a bit fussed about it, didn't he? Oh lordy, Floss, I hope this works out. Of course it'll work out, Dad. I'll put my glass down too, and felt in my jeans for my pocket money purse. Right, it's my round now, Dad. What are you having, another beer? Dad laughed and ruffled my curls, but wouldn't let me pay. He bought another pint for himself, another lemonade for me, and a packet of crisps each. We walked home, holding hands. Lucky greeted us sleepily when we came in, giving us little meows of welcome, as if she'd been our cat ever since she was a newborn kitten. And that is the end of chapter 13, guys. So we're now on chapter 14, which is on page 191. Thank you so much for listening. Until the next time, guys. Goodbye.